Cold cases.
Cold cases. Anyways, okay, so now I can finally tell you my fact, my thing that I was talking about in the car. Okay, guys, so out of the three of us, who do you think has the most common name?
Oh, that's actually pretty funny.
That is.
Steve, Shane, Josh.
Josh.
Bible.
Yeah, it's biblical. His Stephen.
It's
Scott.
close. I think yours is also biblical, but more obscure.
Steven? No, I don't know. I don't know. Shane is kind of just a little white boy name.
I mean,
So who do you think though? Who do you think is the most common name?
by far mine.
Yeah, probably goes.
Mine is like I think supposed to be like it's Yeshua, which I think is Greek for Jesus.
Yeshua.
So yeah, like I would definitely say my name is far more common than
Okay,
anyone.
Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll have to go Josh, Shane, Steven.
Josh, Shane, Steve. Okay.
Yeah.
So here, and I don't get a turn. Okay, so here's the fact, because like I wondered this today. I was like, man, Josh, Shane, Steve, like those are some common ass names. Like what the hell? Okay, so here it is, and like this is like rough. I don't remember the exact numbers, and I'm not gonna look them up again.
Okay.
But okay, so here's the thing. Josh is the roughly 1500th most common name.
Oh wow.
Okay.
That's down
Steve is about between like probably like 1150, I think. It was between 11 and 1200th most popular name.
Oh damn!
Guess how common Shane is?
How?
100th.
350th most
Wow.
common name.
What?
Yeah, what the hell?
Well, I was gonna
Okay,
say.
yeah,
I did not. I don't know anybody. I know so many Joshes and Steves. I don't know any Shanes.
Well, I was gonna say also too is probably like the spelling and everything too, because like you get like the mixed up of like Sean, Shane, Sheen, and it's all just like whatever. It's just Shane.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
That's the way that I see it.
Yeah, they were. I don't know, man. Like in the world.
I
Isn't
went
that
to high school with like 17 other Joshes. I never got called by my first
Really?
name ever.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't usually call you by your first name.
Maybe it's a shift towards atheism.
Well,
Everyone just hates the biblical names.
apparently between the 1980s and the 2010,
Yeah.
Josh was like a popular name. I looked up your name first and I read some statistics or whatever, and I'm like, huh, like yeah, it was totally opposite of what I thought, because I thought my name would be the least common, and then I thought it would be Steve and then Josh, but it was totally backwards.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, blows your mind.
Yes,
Anyways,
you've completely ruined my whole life outlook, and now I don't want my name anymore. This is ridiculous.
you know what I should have looked up? I didn't. Wow, I dropped the ball here, guys. Should have looked up what the number one most common name was.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say Karen.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah.
It's probably like one of those like short names like Tim, Richard. I don't know, Dick.
Oh,
Yeah, but how
probably
do you
is
get Dick from Richard?
There are a lot of dicks out there.
You ask.
Anyways.
That was horrible.
Oh boy. Oh, now I gotta do this. All right. All right. Well, welcome to another episode of Hotline Hangout. My name is Shane, and I'm joined today by a special guest, a friend, Joshua. How are you doing today, Josh?
Not too bad yourself.
Very good. We're also joined by fellow co-host, regular, all the time, every day. He's always here. Steven.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
How's it
I'm
going,
Steven.
Steven?
It's going well.
Boys, it's been a while. Well, Josh, never been on the show before. Congratulations. You've reached the high ranks of being on Hotline Hangout. The second best podcast in Windsor that I know of. No, there's got to be a couple others in here. Well, the other competition is Left Behind Game Club. They're number one video gaming podcast in Canada, actually, on the iTunes ratings, which is absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Congratulations, boys and girl. I think there's a girl on that show sometimes. Yeah, I don't know. No. Josh has no idea. That's okay. Gotcha. We sprung that one on you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's all good. Yeah, because I was like creeping like the social medias, and after I just seen that post up, and I was like, oh wow, like that's actually really surprising.
Yeah.
So, like,
wait, you can actually track like local city-based podcasts?
Well,
no, not
just,
city.
It's just like we follow each other and stuff like that. We're in contact.
Been on their
with
show a
each
couple
other.
times.
And,
okay.
Yeah, he's been cameoing.
Yeah, like that is my greatest accomplishment.
Yeah.
I was on a podcast that's number one on a list on iTunes.
But also too, like you also have Anthony's as well. Not after 30.
Oh yeah, not after 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been on a few podcasts. Podcasting is fun.
Yeah.
Entertaining. Doing the remote podcasting was pretty pretty interesting. It was kind of weird. It was like the exact same setup here, except for no cameras, and I was sitting on my floor, and Steve would occasionally pop in and take a picture of me. But yeah, he was editing an episode of the podcast,
Yeah.
and so every now and then, I think even in the background of Not After 30 episode, you could just hear Steve giggling like a little girl.
I usually giggle when I get horny.
Oh yeah,
What?
he's just watching a video of me editing.
Yeah,
Just let me
it's so funny. Yeah, because I can't
shuffle
remember
this
that was like season 1, and then after Shane was just like sitting in like in his living room, just kind of like with his drink and everything too. What was you drinking like a mojito?
Oh
or
yeah,
something like
mojito. No, margarita.
That? Was it a margarita? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And after like I'm just laughing away because he has like this whole little setup around him. He's like the easiest like editing I had to do. I don't know. Instead of because we have video and everything as well.
Yeah. Oh, well, anyway, Steven, you wanted to talk about something before we got started here today.
Yeah, for sure. As previously, a few weeks ago, we actually ended up watching the Conor McGregor fight, the UFC. Was it 246? I think it was 246. Sounds about right. Yeah. So, anyways, it was just like the great return of Conor McGregor versus Donald Cerrone. So, what'd you think about it? Even though it was about 40 seconds worth of fighting you got to witness, like what was your intake? What'd you get from it? How'd you feel?
So Josh wasn't with us, but we went to Buffalo Wild Wings at 6:00 on whatever day that was, and we sat there for like
Would've been a
6 hours,
Saturday.
and like we were just ordering things and whatever, and we were having a good time. And then the fight comes on at 12:30. They closed at 12, and it kept open.
Yeah.
And
Oh, wow.
like we finally were like finishing our food and stuff, and then the fight comes on, and we're like, oh yeah, finally a fight. And you know, a round is like, is it 5 minutes in those ones or 3?
For UFC, it's 5-minute fights, 5-minute rounds, and they're going for 5 for 5. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
Oh, it was a main event fight. Okay.
Yeah, it was the main
so
event.
five
It was the main
rounds,
event.
Okay.
Yeah.
And end of the fight. Well, I can't tell where it began and ended. It was only 40 seconds. We sat there all night to watch this fight, and it was 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So I was kind of bummed out about it. But
Well, it was kind of cool too, just
Wings.
because like oh yeah.
it was Thursday. Was it a Thursday?
No, it was Saturday.
Oh fuck! I paid full price.
We ended up like talking to like the waitress and everything too, because like we were kind of concerned that we'd get kicked out ahead of time, because like the main card, you know, it wouldn't necessarily start until like midnight, like the actual main fight, just because I think they were shooting in Vegas or whatever, and you know, time difference and everything too. We're asking her, she's like, yeah, we close at 11:30, and she just kind of like left it like open statement. I was like, so can we still finish the fight, or and then she's like, let me find out for you. I was like, are you kidding me? Like we spent all this time, like we showed up at like 8:00, and then for her just to say like, nah, you guys got to leave at 11:30 because we want to go home.
To be fair, that would be in my mind. I'd be like, please leave. Oh God, why must you stay?
But I don't know, like the tips and everything too are great, like because you have a lot of like over testosterone guys just like all rooting around and everything too, just like throwing money at everything.
Was that the day that somebody threw up in there?
Oh yeah, that
Oh
was
my
that
God.
day.
Yeah, so there's just this guy, and he like walked by, and like luckily there's like a barrier between the
Yeah.
tables and the wall or whatever, but he just like threw up all over the wall, and it wasn't like a one spot kind of thing. It was like I'm gonna keep walking towards the bathroom while I'm doing this.
So Jackson Pollock painting.
Yeah.
Oh my,
Oh,
exactly.
Yeah.
Jackson Pollock. Yeah. It's the funniest thing too, because like we start talking too, like amongst with James as well. We're just all sitting there watching, like, how crappy does your life have to be at this moment to throw up in a Buffalo Wild Wings to get
You're-
to that point of intoxication?
35 years old. You're going through a midlife crisis and you don't know what else to do.
I don't even think he
this
was
is your
drunk.
night out and you're partying.
Going through an identity crisis, not knowing what's going on, and then like you just vomit everywhere, and like you make the staff clean it. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh, and so he went into the washroom apparently and like made the same kind of a
Oh
mess
my
in
God,
there.
yeah.
And
Ah.
and then they didn't even kick him out. I think he just threw up. Like I don't think he was drunk or anything. He just got sick.
Yeah, it could.
But he had to finish the fight.
It could have been the food or something
Yeah.
like that. Like I have no idea.
He like came out wearing like a tank top. What's
Yeah.
that called? A wife beater. I'm
Because
like,
like,
oh man.
I think you were the first one to point it out, because like it was all kind of like remnants on all down his beard and everything too.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, did he just puke? I was
he had like you know full size like your beard like
yeah, it was like hefty,
but
just-
short,
it
but
was
like
filled.
that
Yeah.
like filled in and yeah he had it all in his face and he walked by and I'm just sitting there like eating my wing like nom nom nom.
Just looking at him, just
Yeah, no, it was
Just walking
gross.
around with like a soup kitchen on his face.
yeah, it was kind of like
Or
that.
a kitchen sink,
And,
sorry.
I don't know. Like I just felt bad for the staff because they're all like giggling and laughing. Like they had a fun time about it.
They were
but,
trying
yeah.
to, because like he puked on like a picture that was on the wall, like a promo picture, and that thing is like bolted onto the wall. Like 3 people tried to take it off and they couldn't. So
Yeah.
eventually they just like cleaned it really good. And I'm like, oh man, never touch that page.
It's a buff out. It's fine.
Yeah, they're trying to like rip it off the wall and stuff like that, and like you just seen like the struggle that after they're just like
Yeah,
whatever,
3
we
people
can't do
tried,
anything.
and like
Yeah.
they were all progressively bigger. Like first it was this like 5 foot tall like girl, and then it was like a guy who was like a little bit taller than her, and then there was like the buffest guy came out, like the biggest guy there. He came out and he was like, oh, I'll do it.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess the main course too with the fight and everything too. Like I loved it. Like I was like I felt so bad because I was like the only one rooting for like the return of like Conor McGregor because you know like throughout this whole promotion like it seemed like he changed. He kind of grew up. He went through a lot of shit with like you know like the court cases being charged and everything too. But it feels
A lot
like
of shit
he
being an
kind of,
asshole.
Yeah, instead of being an asshole, like I feel like he kind of matured and you know he's very humble, exactly the way that the crowd fell in love
You know
with
what I
him
just
before.
realized?
What's up?
I forgot to take these off. That's
Oh
okay.
yeah, your headsets. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we use.
But
these
yeah,
for.
and so like I don't know, like hopefully he learns from it. Hopefully he still acts the same way that he's doing now, where he's not like a little pissant. But you know, like obviously money changes people, so maybe he just got too much in one load. Like
Maybe
one
he
low
spent it
dose.
all, and now
honestly-
now he's gonna save again.
Then you guys come back, yeah. And
I can't like just because like that cockiness. I mean, you kind of have to
yeah.
when you're in that and you're fighting.
Yeah.
Like you got to psych yourself up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But like my biggest fight that I watched was the Khabib fight with him.
Khabib knocked
when
him
that
off.
just
Oh.
Khabib just destroyed him.
Yeah.
Like that because I like seeing Khabib. Like the dude's
Mm-hmm.
like the most like straightforward, humble dude. Like
Yeah.
he's all about the respect.
Yeah, for sure.
And like when he went the distance and just completely wrecked Connor.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, yeah, finally he got knocked down a peg or two.
Yeah.
Connor's good. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. Like he's a great fighter.
Yeah.
But like just that arrogance just drives me nuts. I
sure.
hate it. So it's just like that he won. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
It was a good fight though. Connor was like pretty humble after too. He like
Yeah.
as soon as he won, he like went over and like he did a lap and then went back to Hunter and like gave him a kiss and like talked to him or whatever. Gave him a kiss on the forehead.
Yeah, he even
And-
like shook hands with his grandma and everything too, because like he was talking about like how much of a warrior she was, like because she showed up for like the early fights and the preliminaries, and after like she stayed for the main card and everything too, just to kind of support the sport, the entertainment, and also to her obviously her grandson as well. Well, the cowboy Cerrone, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
it
that's
was-
cool.
It was great. It was a great fight. I can't wait for him to come back another. Like he hasn't announced at this point in time of what he's doing next or where he's going next. But
I know George Masvidal wants to fight him. but
Jorge, yeah, Jorge Masvidal.
We'll see.
I don't know about that just because like it was kind of like because like he knows the money's there, but he's not really interested because he was like saying like, oh, if Conor wanted to make
One
an
kick-
announcement,
one kick,
he
5
would,
seconds.
he would have said it right then and there. Oh, R.I.P. Ben Askren.
Ben Askren, yeah. Anyways,
Let's moving on.
first, that counted as one whole story.
That's right. This is number
Oh
5.
man, yeah. Steve
Number
Steve
5.
hijacked our script. Whatever.
We have it structured.
Anyways, so today the theme, I guess, like I pulled all these stories from like uplifting news on Reddit, and I thought they were, I don't know, like this one, some of them are conflicting. Like this one doesn't seem like as uplifting.
Yeah.
But basically, so story number 5. A teen raised $10,000 to install a community baby box. Less than a year later, I think it was 9 months later, they found a newborn baby inside the baby box.
Well, that's usually what happens 9 months later.
Oh wow, it was then. Wow, I didn't even make that connection. It
Look
was
at
9
that.
months.
New to the
Oh
show.
boy. Wow, dang,
funny.
Zinger's there. Gonna have to have
But,
you back.
Yeah. So what he raised like $10,000. I said. It
Yeah,
was,
he
like,
raised $10,000 of his
name?
own money.
Hunter Warts, I think his name, 19-year-old. He
Yes.
just like saved his money like cutting grass and doing a bunch of like odd jobs for a bunch of
Selling
nails and
scrap
everything.
metal.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's scrap metal as well, because like that's one thing that I seen. He was like cutting lawn and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, is he like?
He's just a
He's
19-year-old.
just. Where is he from? Is it like Indiana? I think it
Yeah,
said. Yeah.
Indiana teenager.
Um.
The thing here about
Mm-hmm.
the baby box, so like the reason why I clicked on this article was because like I just like didn't realize that like people could just give away babies like that. Like I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that people could like just abandon a baby that's like tied to you that was like born in a hospital probably like or whatever. Like, and I've heard of like dumpster babies before. Like we've had a couple in this area in like the past like 10, 15 years. And yeah, like, I don't know, like when a baby is born, even though it's just like a baby and like, you know, DNA is connecting you, but there's also this like whole registration trail. Like if you go into a hospital, like they're going to have this huge paper trail and you just give it away, right? Like at what point does somebody check and say, what happened to that baby? Like, hey, this person had a baby like 10 years ago and they still live there, but there hasn't been any like registration for school.
Well, I mean, that's after the fact, right? Like they get all that paperwork before, like you're not gonna like, or like after the baby's born, you're not gonna do that like pre ahead of things before the.
No, I know, but I'm saying like 10 years down the line, like it's just like nobody gonna notice that there's a baby that is like never seen the light of day, and it's like where did their baby go? Like, hey, she was pregnant, now she's not, and I don't see a baby anymore.
Like, I guess like let's say if it's like, because I'm not sure how it works in like the States and everything too, but here in Canada, like, you know, we get bonuses and stuff like that to new mothers and everything, baby bonuses and such like that.
Like you'd have to like prove that you still had the thing.
Yeah, do you still have to say at this point? Because obviously they're going to have a register that, you know, you're not taking this kid to school and stuff like that. Like, how does that, like, what type of follow-up program is there to see if you still have it or see what's going on with it? Or they're just so far into the radar.
Well, it's a social thing. Like if you're pregnant and then all of a sudden you no longer have the child, right? Like the authorities, unless someone says, no one's going to know.
Yeah.
Like everyone is in the dark.
Yeah. I guess, but what Shane's saying, because regardless, if you actually have this child legitimately and take it to the hospital, they have to register it. You know, you don't have to give it a name then.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to give it a name, but it's like, where does this baby live?
They state that.
What does it say on the driver's license?
This individual gave birth to this human, and then at this point, now that this human is just no longer there, like there's, you know, what's the follow-up procedure for that? Like, does the government even care about that at that point?
Well,
like,
it goes into state custody.
But that's the thing is like so the thing here is the box is an anonymous donation.
Yeah.
Like the whole idea here is it's like, you know, it's in a private place and it's anonymous.
Yeah.
And like the anonymous thing is like kind of what gets me, right? It's like, yeah, it's anonymous, and it's good that this happens if the alternative is putting a baby in a dumpster. I get it. But like I just don't understand like why, like, is adoption hard? Like, I get it, you're like giving up responsibility here and you have to take responsibility for that, but like isn't this like illegal? Like I just don't understand. Like how is it that the alternative is to put them in a dumpster or a box, but like you're just like completely like relinquishing any responsibility for this person, and there's no paper trail. Like I would imagine that if you're gonna adopt a child or like put a child up for adoption, or like I can't take care of this kid, like government, please take over here. There would be some kind of like resignation. Like you would give up your rights to this child, and like you would like hand over custody to somebody else. Or it'd have to be like some kind of formal method of doing this rather than just an anonymous baby donation.
Or maybe, I think the concept maybe of this, let's say if you do have the child, it's not so much you take them out of the hospital, then drop them in this drop box. I think this box may be something like, if
you're assuming the kid was born in the hospital.
Well, no. If
that
you
would be an assumption too, that
we're
the kid was born in the
assuming that this
hospital.
child is born in the hospital. So let's say if, you know, this girl, there's cases out there where people didn't know they're pregnant, or they're too scared to, you know, admit that they're pregnant, and they have a child in a washroom or something like that, and they don't know what to do with it, so they see like this drop box, like I'm going to drop it off here, put him in a cradle or whatever, drop him off here, and then let bygones be bygones.
That would be a situation that makes sense.
Yeah, that would be the situation.
But like, how frequently does that happen?
I don't know. Like, apparently it happens more than enough where they needed one.
You know what'd be hilarious? You get to work, you're like the fire department chief or whatever. You, the little light for the baby box is flashing wherever you go and open it. It's like a 6-year-old in there. We didn't want him anymore. He put peanut butter on.
An adolescent just crawled up in there.
Yeah.
You know what I think of this box when I seen it? It reminds me of like those donation boxes, like those little like hollowed tin like donation box where you just like
Salvation Army kind of.
Yeah, and you just like truck your whatever in there. Like, is it padded? Like, does anyone actually see what it looks like?
There's a picture.
Okay.
It's got like a little
so
I don't know, like a mattress in a.
It looks like it has O2 almost.
Okay. Oh, so it just looks like a little like incubation chamber.
Yeah, it's like it's a thing. It's meant for not 6-year-olds.
It would obviously have to have like temperature and stuff like that to keep it at a certain heat too, because obviously like hypothermia is a thing.
Yeah.
I think the alarm went off after about a minute.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
and it
So-
actually like.
Yeah, you
align
get
it,
time to
like,
run
okay.
away.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Just put a rock in there and be like, just check in.
You know what that reminded me of? I think it was like the comedy night we went to when one of the comics was actually up there and talking about how your mother took a long period term of like naming your kid or daughter or something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
the best name ever.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
never tells the name though. What was
Well,
that
yeah, yeah.
name?
I think did he say like Ethel or something like that, or
Oh,
is that
no,
like the
I
name?
don't
I don't know. But he was going on a tangent, basically stating that it wasn't so much that your mother was trying to find the perfect name for like the individual. It was just whether or not she was deciding to keep you or not. That's the first
my
thing that
God.
kind of popped up in my mind with this. I was like, yeah, right on the money.
Alrighty, well, yeah, I just think it's like a weird thing, especially since like this was uplifting, and yeah, it was good that the baby survived, but like just I didn't even know that this happened.
Yeah,
you always
it's-
hear about
yeah.
like babies getting dropped off at a fire station, but you know I'll be watching like a movie from like the 1920s.
Yeah.
It's falling.
Oh, whatever. I can
Lift
deal
it.
with I can deal with it.
I can lift it, whatever. But yeah, anyways, I didn't know. I didn't even know it was a thing. So
Isn't
whatever.
it like attached right to like a fire?
Yeah, it's right
department?
in the building.
Yeah, it's the fire. It's in the fire department.
Yeah.
You just become like the like you become an employee or whatever, and you start working for your room and board right away or whatever. But yeah. Anyways, so you know that was our
Baby's first fire nozzle. It's fine.
Oh man, you put the baby holding the thing and just let him blast off. Yeah.
Team Rocket
All right.
blasts off again.
Oh. Meowf. Anyways, so story number 4. Oh man, I'm so used to like James being here, like cutting me off and being like number 4. By the way,
Okay, am
so,
I not fulfilling
yeah.
my duties or
no,
something?
no. Yeah, you
need to
can
step
do
it
that
up,
if you
Josh.
want. Yeah, you need to step it up. But no, so you know, we've been planning on having Josh on the show for a while,
Yeah, for sure.
and today was an opportune day because James called in sick to work, but he said he was sick as a dog, and you know, I hope he watches this. I don't think he will, and maybe I'll tell him to watch it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But-
Maybe what he's going through is magical.
Yeah, he's having a magical time. I'm pretty sure when James called in sick to podcast today, it's kind of like when I call in sick to work. You know, when I'm like gonna have fun instead or something. I don't know. And yeah, I'm pretty sure he's playing Magic right now. But congratulations on New Jersey, 125th place.
Yeah,
It's not
good job.
first; it's 125th. And good luck in Utah this weekend.
Get good, scrub.
Yeah, get good. So, anyways, topic number 4. Oh, and also James says hi, Grandma. Anyways, topic number 4. Doctors looking for men to try male birth control.
This is awesome because I never have to use it.
Same.
Yeah.
I'm still a virgin. Whatever. So I thought that this it's funny that this is uplifting news.
Yeah.
What is uplifting? Yeah.
Depending on what you're thinking about it. It's so funny too because I was actually reading through this article and I started thinking, I was like, what if they actually start incorporating like ED medication with that and tied with it?
Oh shit.
And, like they put like a hint of like a subdermal or something like that, like vapor
hint of
rub with
lavender.
it with like Viagra or something like that, mixed with the birth control essence of it. So I don't know.
That actually, I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Like,
definitely
you'd-
a marketing ploy you
Oh,
might
yeah.
come across.
There'd be like birth control for
You
men.
heard it
There's
first,
like
folks.
stop pregnancy, that kind of birth control. But
Yeah.
then there's like birth control plus.
Yeah,
To-
that's like the
to-
premium package right there. Too.
All the joy and none of the pitfall.
Yeah, it's like we fixed it, boys. Like 85-year-olds.
So yeah, it's,
All right, I never have to worry about getting my 20-year-old girlfriend pregnant. This is great.
So
All them saved lawyer fees.
let's talk about the method though, because like there.
yeah.
So you know, as a male, I have a whole bunch to say about this. But so let's talk about the method here. The method is. It's funny that the picture is pills, but from what I read here, it seems like it's a gel.
Yeah,
You're supposed to
it's
put
a
the gel on your
rub.
shoulder, and that's it. I imagine that it's like it's got to be like not a huge amount. Like I don't know, you wouldn't want to like lather up your whole like shoulders
Yeah.
and then go off about your day. Like that would be kind of gross. I hate putting ointments and stuff on.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a difference between a gel and an ointment. Ointment has that oil base. Where
Well,
it's just,
yeah,
like, sticks
whatever.
forever, and then like the gel.
I just
would
hate it.
probably, like,
I don't even like
vaporize.
using moisturizer. I do because I have to. But
And
it's a
jerky
gel.
sticks.
You put it on your shoulder. That's it. The application. You don't have to remember to like take a pill or whatever. I know for some people it might be difficult to remember to put a gel on even or something.
Yeah.
But for me at least, every morning when I wake up and shower, I put on some moisturizer on my face and on my hands. So it seems like it's just like one extra thing. I think it would be like a doable thing. But one of the controversial things, and I want to know what you guys think about this, but there's like a trust factor here, right? Apparently, people, I don't know if they're against it or whatever, they just have bad things to say about it, I guess, but apparently there's a trust issue with trusting men to do this. And yeah, I don't know. They're like knocking it before they try it. Like, what I think that I've been in a lot of relationships where somebody has forgotten to take a pill or whatever, and it's I don't know, not usually like a trust issue. It's usually like 2:00 in the afternoon eating lunch, like, oh shit, I forgot to take my pill, and it's like, oh okay, and like sometimes, especially for younger people, like when you're younger, it's like, oh my god, I forgot to take my pill, I'm pregnant or whatever. But like I don't know, I just think that it's like kind of silly. Like I think that at least for my situation and people that I know, I think that it would probably be like an equal amount, if at all, like if there is a difference. Like I think that it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, you're gonna forget just the same. If sometimes you be in a rush and you forget or whatever, but like it happens to women all the time too. I've had plenty of experience with women forgetting to take the damn pill.
I feel like they need to make like a shower of this stuff for some guys.
Oh yeah, just put it
daily
in the shower.
Ritual. Just literally just
turn on the
swim in it, shower in it.
Turn on the birth control gel shower.
Sponsored by Axe.
No, they should. You know what they should do? They should just run it in our water with the fluoride.
Just like put it in there, mix it in.
Axe body gel.
Yeah.
Now with
oh my god, all sorts of things.
Puts a whole new meaning to douche.
Oh. Yeah, what do you guys think about this though?
I think it's genius. Like from what I'm reading there, it's supposed to be like 100% side effect free.
Yeah.
Which like for a guy, that's great for me. But then you've got women in the background are saying like, those fuckers are getting away scot free.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that the female the women's birth control, there's like side effects, right?
God, there's
and it's just like,
effects.
of course, men designed it, men made it. Of course, they don't get side effects. They didn't fix our shit yet. This is ridiculous.
Well, I think they've been trying. And see, that's the thing too, is like it doesn't seem like, at least this article, I feel like this like article is just kind of like negative, but it's not like a collaborative approach, right? Because like let's say I had 100% effective birth control with no side effects, and I was dating somebody and they had like 99.9% birth control with a bunch of side effects. It'd be like, okay, well, stop taking that. Like, I'll take care of it. You know what I mean? And then the trust issue comes up or whatever. And it's like, like, can't this just be good? Like, can't you just be like, oh yeah, this is good. Like, maybe we'll switch over or whatever. Cause like, I'll rub a gel on my shoulder every day.
Yeah.
And you can stop with the birth control side effects and stuff.
So even with that too, like I guess, what is it, the University of Kansas that's kind of putting on this little study now that they want applicants for. We'll post the applications down below in the descriptions. But yeah, they're like they're paying,
I've already applied.
they're paying couples like
they're gonna partner you up, right?
Yeah, $4,000, and yeah, they meet you with the candidate, right? You fill out a survey, you find the best candidate for you. But yeah, so it's like $4,000. Yeah, at least have to be dating.
What? You have to pay $4,000?
No.
Oh, I can do better than that.
They will pay you $4,000.
Oh shit! Okay, no.
But
I'm
you
back.
have to,
I know. I feel like I would be charged for this one. Yeah.
You also have to be open to the opportunity that your significant other can get pregnant, or so there's that open chance that this may happen. So at least they're asking that you guys date for at least a year. So yeah.
Are you kidding me? Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know, I thought it was relatively interesting too, because like it's just I don't know, it's just an ointment rub or a gel rub. Like to me, there's not enough like scientific data that actually kind of indicates like whether or not like the therapeutic range and everything too. How long does it take prior to before you can kind of
Would you use it?
Me? Nah, I vouch abstinence.
Oh, hands down.
Oh, just yeah. Steve's
I don't
celibate.
I don't believe in premarital sex.
Oh boy,
You gotta
I
ride the
100%
bike
use
before you ride it, man.
Premarital sex.
oh my goodness. Oh, I can't believe.
No, I would
this is
definitely
evolving
use
to-
it. That's if
Yeah,
that's if
especially
it's
if
a
I was
gel.
helping. If it was helping women, right? Especially if the side effects were zero. Well, it says that.
Yeah.
And it's reversible too, which is crazy. Because like from what I understand, like I know that you're supposed to take birth control at the same time every day.
Yeah, it's
that's about my
recommended,
knowledge of it. But apparently, like messes up your ovaries, like causes
there's
ovarian
other
cysts and stuff
physical
like that.
issues.
Like there's all these like issues or whatever. And then sometimes like women come off of it and they are unable to like conceive and whatever. Like so, if me rubbing a gel on my shoulder is gonna fix that. And like to be to be really honest with you, I've been in relationships before where I'll set an alarm on like my phone to like remind them to take a pill. So this is just me. I get it. I'm just like an individual who has had this experience or whatever. But I don't think it would be like significantly different if it was like the onus of men to do this. And I think that for the most part, a lot of men would be willing to, I guess, like bear that burden. Like I don't even know if
That's one less child support payment. I mean,
yeah.
why not,
Oh, yeah.
right?
And plus, like if it did work how it says, and there was a guarantee, like, yeah, because there's all those like there's some sketchy situations sometimes. Like how many babies came out of one night stands that, Josh.
All right.
I love you, Mom.
Anyways, so yeah, that's what I think about that.
No, I think it's genius, and they hauled ass because I think they were doing this they started this a couple of years ago,
like
so they
3 or
were
4
like
years ago.
really hauling. They've come a long way.
Imagine what the scientists like motivation behind it was. They were like, "Oh, this happened to me. I'd never want it to happen to anybody else," and so they like haul ass and develop this awesome sounding birth control. The thing is though, the only thing the one last point I want to make is like, I know that birth control is expensive. I don't know how much like it costs everywhere else or whatever, but I know that generally if you have insurance here, it costs like $10 a month or whatever. And if you don't have insurance, like usually you can get it for still probably about $10 a month. But I think I don't know. And I'm just talking on my ass here, but maybe $30 without insurance, $30 a month. Roughly. But there's alternatives. You can go to like a health center and like get it for cheap or free or whatever. But yeah, like that's another complaint that I know that women have had generally is like, men don't have to pay for it or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's a valid point. I agree. And yeah, like, that'd be like another thing is like, okay, well, how much does it cost? Cause like for $10 to $30 a month, sure. But if it costs like $400 a month, yeah, no, I'm good. I'll take my chances.
Yeah, don't be a fool. Wrap your tool at that point. Just yeah.
They need to make a gel now that prevents STDs. Anyways, next story. Number three. So this is kind of like a combined story here, but it has something to do with like kind of climate change a little bit, and then also like I guess like animal rights, animal activism, or whatever.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah. So the first article that I saw, it was that Microsoft. And it was kind of interesting, like the facts behind this here. But Microsoft plans to become carbon neutral by like 2030, I think.
2050?
2030.
It's between 2030 to 2040.
Yeah.
Okay.
They plan on becoming carbon negative by 2050, which I think is really cool because like at that point they're consuming carbon and like bringing it back into like solid form, not in the atmosphere or whatever. So that's cool. And I kind of thought about that a little bit. And then I looked at Starbucks, and Starbucks is kind of trying to follow the same path there.
Yeah.
So Starbucks is getting rid of dairy by 2030, which is totally fine because like I don't generally consume dairy from there anyways, except for whip, occasionally. But yeah, I wonder what kind of whip they're going to use
What
now.
type of alternative? I don't know. Can you like whip like soy-based like products at all with that?
Ooh, I don't know.
Probably.
Serious, this is a question I have for Starbucks now. There's got to be an alternative whip. I know that there are vegan whips not at Starbucks, but Starbucks whip right now is milk.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's the easiest to you put the nitrous canister in there
and everything
just,
too.
bam. But so they are going to eliminate dairy from their product lineup completely by 2030, I think they said. And the reason for this was because they are attempting to reduce their carbon footprint by 21%, which, I think that's fantastic. And they have more plans to try and become like, less carbon reliant and carbon negative, right? And they said they also want to store carbon as well. So they have a plan, I guess, for beyond 2030 to become carbon negative as well. And I just started thinking about this and I'm like, and this is like a really devil's advocate because we're nowhere near this yet. But I was like, okay, well, like if all these companies start becoming carbon negative, then like wouldn't we end up with like the opposite problem at some point? Like instead you start having babies. Everybody is like a ideal basketball player. They got to raise the nets professionally in the NBA. Like got like 8-foot people like everywhere. Just like
I'll take an extra foot, please.
So you're trying to say oxygen is related to what's it called? Gigantism?
Yeah. Well, yeah, like, I talked to you guys about this earlier, but that's why the dinosaurs are big, were because like all the carbon was like kind of stored in dead matter like trees and stuff like that, and then dirt and whatever, and like the more trees that were happening, they were sucking the carbon out of the air and like getting bigger or whatever, and then like dinosaurs were bigger, everything was bigger back then, right? Because there was so much oxygen, it was oxygen rich. And then I'm just thinking like now, like like where we've put ourselves in the last 100 years, terrible. But let's say Ford and GM decide to become carbon negative as well, and like all these car companies just start sucking it out, and then we're back to like 1700 levels of carbon emissions. I don't know, was it bad then? I don't know. Something bad will happen if we keep going
I
back.
feel like if they were like carbon neutral like years ago, I probably wouldn't have as many mental defects, because I had GM over here, I got Chrysler over here, and I had Fords over here, and I was straight in the middle of all three.
Oh yeah, we're all gonna die of cancer.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm just pretty much that's the
The
that's the end of it.
Trinity.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Trifecta.
Another thing that Microsoft said here about theirs. So Microsoft, let's just say that they came about in like late 70s, early 80s, right?
Okay.
So Microsoft says that they actually want to eliminate their entire carbon footprint for the entire existence of their existence. Like they want to like go back and like kind of start cleaning up somebody else's mess at some point. And they're saying that they're going to do that, I think, by 2050 as well.
Well, yeah, because they're already saying that they have $1 billion investments out of for 4 years or something like that. So yeah,
that's just
so they're already.
I just thought that was interesting.
Paid.
To be fair, Bill Gates has been like a huge advocate for alternative energy.
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
been pumping
He's been doing it
disgusting
forever.
amounts of money into that. I believe also into Africa and South Africa
Yeah,
for
yeah.
other initiatives.
Like
he's
mosquitoes
Like
and
I
stuff.
like that
being-
that toilet one thing that he was doing, where he was just like invent a toilet with like reusable like parts and reusable just biodegradable toilets basically for them. So I thought that was really interesting.
Speaking of like efficient toilets like that or whatever, I saw this thing. It's in Arizona, and it's like this community of like renewable houses, or like houses that are self-sustaining houses.
Okay.
And the way that the toilet system there works is ridiculous. It kind of sounds gross, but I don't know, if you get over it, it's like whatever. But apparently the toilet flushes into the soil, the irrigation system or
Oh, and
whatever,
it just, like,
and then
refills-
like
okay, yeah.
but that's underneath their garden.
Yeah.
And then so like the garden like grows up, and you get tomatoes or whatever, and it's like, I made these
Yeah,
tomatoes.
it's very rich in nitrogen. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
organic based.
They're the best tomatoes I ever had.
Do you like that tomato? You're eating a part of me.
It came from me.
I pooped.
That's not creepy at all.
Yeah, I actually watched a little documentary on that about the Arizona self-sustaining like houses project area, and man, it was so interesting. Especially like the first guy's house, like it was cool. Like it was a place that I wouldn't be like, oh, I want to live here forever, right? But then other people saw it, and they saw the land that it was on, and then they started kind of like buying plots of lands, and now you got like a whole city of just self-sustaining houses, and they kept getting nicer and nicer and nicer.
Oh my god, that reminds me
Oh,
of like
man, it's so cool.
the Simpsons, when like they moved to like this like whatever richy neighborhood, and then like they had like a self-sustaining house, and like
And then Marge couldn't clean anything.
Yeah, and then after she like took on like alcoholism.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's
I
self-sustaining.
have nothing to do.
Yeah, so she was just like stream bored. So it's like
It's not that kind of self-sustaining. I mean, like self-sustaining, like you don't ever have to leave the house because it provides for you. Imagine that. Eh? The house would be like a mother or something. Yeah.
At least this one wouldn't be trying to kick you out of your basement out
Oh.
of the house. So it's just like,
Yeah. Anyways, next one, man. And
Which
then
one's this, number
keep
2?
in mind that these are all uplifting news. The uplifting news, like some of this stuff doesn't sound even like uplifting. I'm just like, oh, if this is uplifting, then
Yeah, it's
just
open
shoot me
for
now.
interpretation.
Whatever.
Stay optimistic.
Subjective.
Yeah.
Anyways, this one.
Number
2. Michigan man returns $43,000. And I'll note that this is U.S., United States dollars.
USD.
It's Michigan, so obviously. But for those who don't know, our Icelandic listeners, $43,000 American he found hidden in a couch bought at Habitat for Humanity store. Boys, what would you do if you found $43,000 in a couch?
hookers and blow.
You wouldn't return it? That wouldn't be your first thought?
Hookers and blow.
But what about the hookers and blow?
Honestly, for myself, I don't know, man. Like I think I would probably try to find like
Hookers and blow. Okay,
what
hookers
this
and blow. 2 for
individual
hookers and
did.
blow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
No, I mean, like, it depends. Like, it really, depends on the kind of person,
circumstantial,
right?
yeah.
Like, if for me, it would be depending on which way the wind was blowing. I might return it. I might keep it. I don't know.
I'd say, okay, if I'm going to be the good guy here, I'd say that I found $21,500 in a cushion. Like, come on. Like, you're going to return 40. So just to put this in perspective here, my student loan, my car payments, and like a little bit of credit card debt, add up to about $43,000 American. So yeah, you know, that'd be like a tough sell for me. To give that back. Oh man, I'm just thinking about my student loan being gone right now. And that's just like
even with like the story too, like it's kind of weird because like who keeps like that like a record of who drops off merchandise? Like that's the odd part about
okay,
this.
so that makes sense.
Wait,
to
did
me,
they actually keep a record of it?
Well, okay, so when you drop something off like that, like let's say I went to your house, Josh, and I stole your couch, and then I brought it to Habitat for Humanity.
Okay.
And then they just took it from me, and they were like, "Oh, okay, whatever." And then you
But it's a
went to
donation. You don't
Habitat for
sell it.
Humanity, and you're like, "Hey, that's my couch, and that's not supposed to be here. That's my couch." And they had a record. Like the same like a pawn shop.
But, like,
At Habitat for Humanity though, like when they bring stuff there, I think it's a little different than.
I don't know because like it's a donation. Like they're not getting anything from it. Like they're not getting cred or anything like that.
And apparently they were about to throw it out too. Did you forget
yeah.
that? They were about to throw this stuff out. Nobody was buying it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and he paid I think $50 or $100, $80 or something for the set.
$70.
Less than $100. Yeah, for the whole set, which is nuts. It wasn't even just the couch. It was like other things too.
Yeah, and so like it was so funny too because how he found it, like he just put it in his man cave, he said, and like he just felt uncomfortable, like I guess in one of the cushions or something like that. He felt it more harder than normal, so he ended up just like opening it up and like discovering like this envelope. So yeah.
Yeah. So this one time I bought a couch from IKEA and I found no nothing. I didn't find anything. So the thing about this too is the man says that he just, what would he say? What, you remember the quote? He was like he felt like a calling from God or something like that to bring the money back.
Yeah, I can't remember the actual specifics of it. He was just saying like he just felt more of like a holier spirit or something like that that's been telling him to kind of return it. And I was like, that's not like a holy
he talked to a
spirit.
lawyer
Like,
first actually.
Oh, yeah, he said he reached out to a lawyer to see if it's just if he kept it. The lawyer says like, yeah, like it's yours now.
Yeah.
But like yeah,
There's so many reasons why that was his money.
It was just like being in a sense of like what's morally right. Like, you know, like if you don't need it, if it's not yours, ideally you can try to look out to like see who it was. If you could find them, sure. If not, then like it's yours.
If you're well off enough, that I mean, and you genuinely don't need it, I guess, your conscience would probably be that.
Yeah. I was gonna say you don't need to go out of your way though. Like ideally, you can pop by and be like, "Hey, listen, do you have a record of this person? You don't? Okay, cool." Then
but the thing about it this way though, like, because like I'm trying to think about it from like my perspective and like I guess their perspective, but he was shopping at Habitat for Humanity, right? Like that's not like generally the place. I guess I would go there.
Or going there, I guess.
Yeah, like Habitat for Humanity is kind of like a good place to go because like I don't know, like if I were to shop at Habitat for Humanity, it wouldn't be because I was like looking for a discount necessarily, because I was kind of like looking for something that I'd probably be able to like fix or put back together myself and like make it mine kind of thing. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't know.
Or something, give you a project to do.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I just think it's like, man, this guy found it on my birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But yeah. Oh man, it's more than that. It's $43,170.
Yeah, it's estimate of 43.
Oh, boy. Anyways,
there's a lot of hookers and blow.
So he ended up. So here's the kicker. Here is the kicker. So he ended up finding the people who owned it, or he owned it. It was his. It was clean and clear, his money, whatever. He found the people who donated it, got in touch with them, and apparently the reason why they donated the couch was because it belonged to their grandfather, who had recently passed away. So I've heard about this before, where like older people, they hide money in furniture, and walls, places, all sorts of places, all over the place. They just hide money, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, wow, like nobody would have noticed. Like they gave it back. Like they're kissing phantom butt, man. Like
well, that's old world thinking too. Like definitely. Old world coming from Europe, stuff like that. You may not have trusted the bank, or you were like a part of the depression.
Yeah,
like,
that just takes part of like the 30s. Yeah,
squirrel everything away.
Yeah, and imagine that too. Like imagine the compound interest. It could have been way more than that if you just put it in his bank. Somebody could have had it. Because I guess they got it back.
That's what they were saying too. Just because like the bills and everything too were relatively older as well, so they obviously came from like the 30s or something like that. Like they were older bills.
No way.
And and they were contemplating like nobody would want to take this money because it kind of looked almost like fake in a sense. Just because it was
not familiar with it,
yeah, it's not familiar. It's not nothing like the new prints.
Have you guys ever purchased anything with a Canadian bill, like a $1 bill?
Canadian $2,
the $2 bills.
Yeah. I had a stack of $2 bills.
Yeah,
and it's like people look at you like, what the hell is this? Like,
this is not real. Yeah, like the paper money.
I had an old lady come through my till and pay in crisp sequential,
Damn.
brand new $1 bills.
Yeah.
I bought those out of the till right quick, and I'm like, no, mine.
Yeah, really.
I forget where I was working, but yeah, I was working like a till or something too. Somebody came in with like a stack, like from the bank that had
Yeah.
like the bank thing on it or whatever of like $1 bills.
Oh, it's so fun.
Yeah.
Like the band or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you could back in the day, and I think you still can. You can buy sheets of uncut currency.
Oh, seriously?
Actually, I don't know if you can do it now, but like, yeah, that was a thing. People would buy
Man, that's wild.
whole sheets of uncut currency.
That's crazy.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, one quote I remember reading on there as well. He's saying like if he couldn't find the couple who belonged to like like who owned the couch previously, he was just gonna burn the money. Like
What? Why?
I have no
Oh,
idea.
no.
I'm like, what's the point? Like, is it like your like morale is like so low that
God would tell you to put it to a homeless shelter.
yeah, like you could donate
Soup
it, you could do
kitchen,
something.
something.
But you
He
decide
called-
just to like if you didn't find him to burn
Yeah,
it.
what a fuck.
Yeah.
Oh man, that guy's an
Like, I
asshole.
don't know. I thought that was odd. I was like,
Another thing too is like, you know, he talked to a lawyer first to see if it was legal for him to like keep the money or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, isn't burning money illegal?
yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
legal.
Actually,
yeah, it is, yeah.
Wow,
official
what a
US
dumbass.
currency, yeah.
Anyways, so yeah,
Oh yeah.
I'm still just upset. Honorable mention for today is the coronavirus, the summer virus. Good on a hot summer day. I feel like we had to mention it
Yeah.
just because it's a thing and it's happening.
The
Kind of
pandemic that's
annoying
happening
at
from
this
it.
point. Like I hope I don't get it, but according to the sources, I'm probably not going to die if I do get it. So whatever, bring it on.
Well, yeah, like you're healthy, you're young. I can't really see anybody like in like this age category like dying from it unless you're immunocompromised or something like that or have something else going on with you. But ideally, I would assume that you would have a relatively quicker recovery than somebody who's more up there in age or whatnot. But
It's mostly
like
children and elderly you have to worry
yeah,
about.
it's
Yeah.
always like the two perspective children or older, elders basically.
Yeah. The thing about the coronavirus that's kind of interesting is like, I don't know if you guys saw, but I think it was Plague Inc. or like Pandemic or whatever is
Plague
like the
Inc.,
number one top selling game on iTunes right now, like the most profitable game on iTunes
Oh my
right
God,
now.
yeah.
People just flock to this shit. They're like, oh, there's a virus. And then the actual developers of the game put out a statement saying, hey, our game is not like how like don't use this game to like
Like,
alter
it's
your
like, how this is
behavior.
gonna
Yeah,
go.
this
It's
a
don't
reference or guidance.
this isn't a guide. It's a game.
There was a Reddit article saying,
Walkthrough for
there's like
life.
a 30% chance that it's going to wipe out humanity because they used like that Plague Inc. game.
Oh
And I
my
was like,
God.
what?
But like,
Um,
I don't know, like I can't remember where I was seeing it, but they were talking about like how literally the flu has more victims that it claims versus as what's going on.
Yeah, it was
with
like a
this,
chart of like deadly
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Mortality
this one,
rate per.
Yeah.
and like SARS was really bad. It was like way up there.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that mortality rate that they've calculated or that chart that they've calculated is based on like current statistics or like the actual like deadliness of it.
No. It's 2019 statistics that they had for it.
Oh, so it is
Yeah.
statistics. Well, it hasn't even. I'm sure it's a ratio, I
Yeah.
guess.
But yeah,
But yeah,
well,
they keep
they're
finding new
doing
people every day.
comparison for it, yeah.
Canada is chartering a plane to Wuhan, like the origin site, and
Ground
they're actually
zero, yeah.
gonna take Canadians and bring them back home, which I thought was kind of cool. Because like
that's
the
kinda
government's
neat, yeah.
completely shut down
Oh, in Wuhan.
transportation or
Yeah.
whatever. But I guess like there's got to be some kind of partner. I wonder how this would work.
It'd be a quarantine protocol. You'd probably have to
Yeah.
go into quarantine after so much time. Once you're cleared, you're no longer
Oh no!
thought to be
It's
infected. They're
they're gonna bring any Canadians back from there, I think, and then
Oh,
like
regardless?
bring them back. Yeah, they're bringing everybody
Like,
back.
didn't
They-
you s-
you don't have to be healthy to come back. They're gonna put you all on a plane and y'all come back here, and then they're gonna take care of it here.
Didn't you see like the
Pass.
boxes and everything too that they're throwing these people in, whoever had like fevers and stuff like that at airports?
Wait,
they would
what?
literally throw in like an isolation box and they carry them out and like into like a truck or something like that and take them to
Oh,
like the local
man.
hospital.
Wait,
so
like
they
a
could put 'em in,
supervillain, like isolation little cube or
yeah,
something?
it's exactly like that. It has like a seat in there and they lift them up, they take them out. And they put them in like a isolation chamber, like in a hospital, like a negative pressure. So like obviously
That's
they can't spread.
that's crazy, man. Like I get like that all these things are like make sense for. Well, one more thing about this.
For sure.
It was just an honorable mention. But I thought it was cool. And I didn't know about this, but apparently when the SARS outbreak occurred in like 2004, 2003, so China built a hospital in like wherever they
Oh,
were.
yeah.
In 7 days, they built a whole hospital. And it was like a big hospital too. It was like a huge hospital and they built it in 7 days. Like they just had like a spare blueprint laying around and then they were like, all right, hospital, here you go.
Yeah.
Like imagine that, eh? Imagine how the skyline would change. Like, you know, our hospitals, they're like really tall and they have
Yeah.
like helipads and shit. Imagine there was a Met hospital, like just randomly somewhere else, like that size. Like,
Yeah, and like the thing is too, like it could like house up to 1,000 patients, and I think they built 2 of them just recently in 10
where did they
days.
get all those doctors from? Is there like
It
an
was
abundance of doctors
Oh,
there?
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh my
Really?
god, internationally, yeah, there's so
Oh,
many doctors.
damn.
It's like they can't come over here because like we don't see like their credits worth of value.
Wouldn't
over here.
recognize their
Yeah,
education,
that's
yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
We don't recognize their education, so we recognize anything just from North America. But yeah,
That's neat. But yeah, I'm less impressed about that, I guess, other than like building a hospital in 7 days. Because like I don't know if you guys noticed, they had 2 new buildings that went up in the city recently in like the downtown core area, and that started, I'm gonna say, at least a year ago, and it's still going. Like they're still building those things. And I get
1,000 years later.
so it's like they're putting the last line of
oh
paint
my
on.
god, yeah, you can't rush the union jobs. You kidding?
Oh man, and I get it. Like maybe they only work from like 8 to 5 every day or 8 to 4, whatever the hell. They only work certain hours or whatever, right? So you'd expect it to take 3 times longer than that. 3 weeks, right? No, it's taking a year. Like they're like, no. The weather's bad, this, that, whatever.
Yeah.
They never get anything done on time. And this hospital is gonna have like walls up, ceilings up, or whatever. Like
Oh yeah.
everything, and like
Well, they'll have to have everything too. Plus, the whole thing would have to be like negative pressure as well.
sterilization, negative pressure. They're gonna have all the things, and I
Have the
get that they can like
filters.
build the technology there, so like they have a lot more infrastructure to like build technology, right? So like filters and this and that and whatever,
And shit
all
tons
that
more
stuff.
people, right?
Yeah.
Like they could probably run nonstop crews
Oh,
like,
yeah,
without ever taking a break.
Oh, yeah,
They would have had to do that, right?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I even get that, and that's what I'm saying though. Even if it was faster here, it would be like 3 times longer, let's say, to like make something significant like that.
Yeah.
But no, that's not it. It just doesn't happen here. It
Absolutely
just doesn't
crazy.
work. But whatever. And first story. This wasn't in uplifting
Number
news.
1. Oh yeah, this
No,
was.
no.
I was gonna say, did you find this one?
No, this one.
Yeah.
This one is everybody just knows about it anyways. The Kobe Bryant plane crash. Really unfortunate. Kobe Bryant, 41, traveling with his 13-year-old daughter and 7 other people.
7, yeah.
And apparently the pilot was trying to fly a bit higher, and it led to the plane crashing, and all 9 passengers passed away.
So, if you don't mind me asking, where were you when the news broke out to you? What were you doing?
I don't remember. I think I was at work, because like I remember my watch beeped and it's like Kobe Bryant, and it took a minute to register, and I'm like, I just like remembered back, because like I'm not a big basketball fan or anything like
my
that,
God, yeah,
but I just remember Dave Chappelle
Yeah.
like doing the Kobe wrist flick.
Oh yeah, cool.
That's how I knew of Kobe, and then like
Yeah.
obviously we've learned so much more about him in the last couple of days
sure.
based on like everybody else's tributes, like Jimmy Fallon's tribute talking about how they went on a beer run together, and Kobe I don't even think he was old enough, but they got to the store, it was closed, and he took out his ID and he's like, I'm a Laker, and then they opened up the store for him, let him in, they got 5 cases of beer,
Jesus.
and it's kind of emotional. Do you remember where you were when you found out?
I think me and my roommate were just about to head out, and I was checking my phone, saw Reddit, and Reddit just blew up. It was just
Oh yeah.
everything, and I was just like, oh. I was like, holy shit. And then I kind of
'cause that's
I
like
was
a
like
big name
surprised.
too,
I was like,
right?
damn, all right.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what? My roommate's like, what happened? And he's like, well, man, Kobe Bryant passed away. He's like, the basketball player? I'm like, no, the NFL player.
Yeah. For myself, I think I was just like literally parked out the gym, and then after my sister ended up texting me because apparently she was just like quick to respond, because as soon as TMZ kind of blasted that.
Oh yeah. Apparently TMZ got
were
it out
first to
before the
break it, yeah.
news.
Yeah, that's exactly. Well, I'll get to that in like 1 second. It's just like, so she sent it to me as soon as they blasted. And after, I was like, holy shit! Like it was just like so surreal. So it's just because like he has that legacy status. It's just like damn, like it just put it in perspective that this can essentially like happen to really anybody. You really kind of think just like anytime, anywhere, doesn't matter. And like and like the whole thing too with the backlash with like, let's say TMZ as well. I can't really fault them for that. Like, sure, it sucks and everything too, but that's what they do. That's who they are.
It was
did
the
this for
police that
years.
called them out about it too. The police were
Yeah,
like,
like
they
the
were like,
sheriff.
yeah,
Yeah. Or chief of police, yeah.
Yeah. I get where both sides were coming from.
Yeah.
It is kind of shitty though, because like that's probably how his wife found out.
Oh yeah, probably just
Right.
like her. And
That's
then, like,
that's what I'd be
yeah.
upset about there.
I'd be mortified. Like, I'd be caught between like fear, sorrow, and then like just pure rage. Like,
Yeah.
what the
And like he has 2 daughters still as well. He had 3 daughters.
'Cause
His wife.
I think it was kind of the same situation too. it's a little bit of off-brand as well. As like it's like the same thing that happened, I guess, with like I remember just seeing this recently with like the Jackass crew, Ryan Dunn.
Oh
Like
yeah,
the
yeah.
way that they found out too was from TMZ. They actually contacted Steve-O and they were like, "Hey, can we get a statement on Ryan Dunn's death?"
Are you
And-
kidding me?
and
They
he's
just
like,
reach out right
no.
away.
and he's like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "What happened?" Like this was like at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and like that's when kind of like he was like drunk driving and
Jesus
stuff like that. And he
Christ.
like branched off into the road, and they're like, "Yeah, can we get a quote from you?" He's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" He's like, "Ryan Dunn's dead." And
Wow.
like,
Yeah,
that's
I
kind of-
totally
they
forgot about that.
That's how they all got together, and so they're not notorious for like saying like this isn't an oddity for them. Like this is what they get paid to do. Like this is a whole. I don't want to say the benefit of paparazzis. It's just like once you put yourself in that limelight, like they know everything about you at this point now. So it's just kind of a sacrifice
Yeah.
you have to take, unfortunately.
And they probably like the police probably have like some kind of way, or I don't know,
Yeah.
man. They like listen on police scanners or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, they
There's
probably
got to
have
be
all
like a way that
and
they
probably
figured
have, like,
out.
informants and stuff like that too working, because I know before they used to pay like the coroners and stuff like that, where
Really?
they would
Oh,
actually give
man.
them reports and such. Of course, they would have to. What's the terminology when they kind of like cut out specific informations?
Redacted?
Redacted, yeah. And then after they'd give them like kind of open statements and stuff like that, but they kind of tell them who was involved, what happened, but they don't go in full details to kind of make it a legal issue. But yeah, they still have coroners and their payroll, of course.
Yeah. Just goes to show though that anything can happen at any time. Kind of like think of your own mortality as
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
right? 'Cause I kind of thought about it too, and I'm like, man, Kobe Bryant, like world all-star, loved around the world, and he dead at 41. Like it could just happen at any point.
Yeah, dude.
I had ending on a sad note here, I guess, but I had a computer science teacher, and he was just a great guy. He's an all-around good guy. Programmed my first video game in his class, and my only video game. I didn't do another one after that. But yeah, he passed away. I think it was like a blood clot in his brain or something like that, and he just went. He was like, I think 32 years old, which is like crazy. Like that's like it could just happen at any time.
Yeah.
Maybe he was a little older, but yeah, crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, it's like I don't know, like my encounter, I guess. Like really, it's just like when I was like dropping a friend off in like whatever Chatham, and literally like a metallic hook smashed through my windshield, like literally this weekend, and I'm just like Jesus Christ, like things is. It's unpredictable. Like, you can't call it and everything too. It's just like
Yeah, I got a message from
you never
TMZ
know
on my
what
watch,
happens.
like, "Oh, Steve is dead," and then like 2 seconds later, they were like,
RIP
"Just kidding," and then
highlight,
you called me, and I'm like, "Wow, how did they get it so fast?" They got like a camera in your windshield.
Yeah.
Got like a crack sensor that went off. But yeah.
Yeah, that is not a good way. Like, I mean, you losing your husband, then like the whole child thing though.
Yeah.
Like learning from like,
Yeah, like that's the saddest part too. It's like just imagine like the mother too. Like you lost a husband, and then you also found out you lost a child as well the same consecutive day.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of like a story quite like this before, where like
Like, it's
half there's a
surreal.
split. Like you got 2 kids that are left over, like without a
Yeah.
sister now.
they made a pact. The husband, like Kobe and his wife, said they would never, like the whole family or they themselves would never be in the same helicopter at the same time.
Oh,
Really?
just in case.
Yeah,
for
there
something
was like an
that were to
agreement.
happen?
Yeah, actually, my parents do the same thing. Like
Shit.
when we take our trips out to Leamington to visit my
Yeah.
grandfather, my dad's like, no, it's only ever some of us. We're not all going at the same time. Because Highway 3 is a fucking death trap.
Interesting.
Damn.
I didn't know that was a thing. So what's this pact like?
Like they wouldn't ride in the helicopter like with each other. Like there would always be like one would travel one way, one would travel the other. They wouldn't be in the same one.
Yeah. Damn, I didn't know that
Yeah,
at
I
all.
didn't
That's
know that.
interesting.
I think I read that just like a little earlier today.
'Cause,
I
like,
came across that.
The whole purpose too for him even like traveling in helicopters, because apparently he was like very notorious for doing so. It's just so he would like avoid like LA traffic, and like he just wouldn't have to sit there. And he was like, there's more cause of death happening with like car crashes and stuff like that versus as like,
Helicopter.
Yeah, and that seems just like an accident, like probably user error. I didn't really read too much about the actual crash itself.
yeah. Well, like we heard,
He was trying to gain
specifics.
altitude though.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I think there was like maybe like a low pressure or something like that, and like
Mm-hmm.
he hit like cloud cover and then just like lost control of the vehicle.
Oh, it's tragic. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You will forever live on in our grenade trucks on online games when you're throwing that perfect
Oh my
Kobe.
God.
Kobe. Yeah, that's immediately what I thought of though, and then all the 90 kids, like that's probably
like
how like
insane,
literally
yeah.
anybody remembers
Oh
him.
my
That was
God,
like my
yeah.
first Kobe experience. But Dave Chappelle, man, I wonder how Dave's doing. I don't know. You know what? Oh, I don't even say it. But yeah, we went to a comedy night on Tuesday, and Man, like one of the comedians kind of looks like a mix between like Kobe Bryant and Tyler the Creator. And I forget what he did, but he made like the nastiest Kobe Bryant joke, and I was like, man, that was hilarious, but that was way too soon.
Yeah, dude.
And he shut up a heckler with it too. He shut up a heckler with
Yeah.
it too. I can't say the joke, but
Yeah, yeah.
it was hilarious, and that guy definitely was a little bit quieter after that. Oh boy.
Wait, he targeted
I'll tell
the
you the
joke
joke.
at the heckler?
I'll tell you after. I'll
Yeah,
tell you
yeah.
how it went. Oh, it's
Wow.
hilarious. Anyways, ending on a sad note here, but that was Hotline Hangout for today. I forget what day it's going to be. Friday the 31st of January. Stevie, where can they find us?
They can actually find us at our Instagram handle at Hotline Hangout Podcast, followed by our Twitter handle at Hotline Hangout. Should they actually want to watch us, watch our beautiful faces on YouTube, they could find us at Hotline Hangout on YouTube.com. And should you guys want to ask us questions, email, information, whatever, always reach out to us at hotlinehangout@gmail.com.
You can also, I think, leave voice comments now on Anchor specifically. If you want to like ask a question or something, we can play it on the podcast and then answer it another time. I think that's how it works. I don't know. I haven't tested it, but if you want to test it, I will follow up with it, I guess, afterwards. Josh, do you have any social media that people can find you on? Do you have any?
You wanna plug
If
it?
anybody wants to, yeah. If you have any plugs you wanna?
I have no plugs.
What do you
Josh is
working on
a
lately?
Neanderthal.
Yes, I live in the dark ages,
That's
please.
good.
I
You know,
will stay
it's
there.
it's Bell Let's Talk Day, so you know I think we'd
yeah,
probably be in a
that's
worse
a thing.
place if Josh had social media. I wonder, because like I hate social media. I just delete it. I don't even look at it anymore. Every time I go on Twitter, I just go on Twitter to complain to companies now.
I mean, I have social media. I just don't want to tell anyone about it. This is
okay.
ridiculous.
All right, we'll post it in the comments. Anyways, you can find me at Chiasso on Twitter. I think Instagram as well. But yeah, if you'd like to see me complaining to companies, that's what whoa, spit while I'm talking. Lately, that's what I've been doing on social media because I just want to end the show here. Fantastical, the app that I use for calendar, updated, and it's terrible now. And I can't even look at my calendar. It just tells me the date. It's so annoying. I forgot everything I had to do today, and I'm apparently have to create an account now to see my calendar. I am pissed.
There goes our one sponsor.
Yeah. Anyways, what's that? Shadow Legends or whatever. They can still sponsor us, so they didn't ruin my calendar.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah. Oh, anyways, this has been another episode of Hotline Hangout. See you next week. Peace. Oh man, I'm like losing my voice at this point. Woo! All right.
Kobe.
Colby.